Let me tell you a story. In a magical world, there existed several different musical instruments, and there was one universal heavenly song that would float in the air and play itself through each instrument. Every instrument played its part in bringing this universal song to life. The song needed the instruments in order to be heard, and the instruments needed the song in order to know what to play. Every instrument perfectly complemented the others with no conflict. There was no instrument more important than the other. Every instrument had its part to play. And the instruments were happy and felt so connected with the other instruments. Everything was in harmony. But one day, one of the instruments, the violin, questioned what it would be like if it played something else. Would playing a different song make it happier? What if I controlled what I played rather than let the song be played through me? The violin asked itself. So the violin tested this out and tried to play something different. But it didn't know what to play, so what came out was just chaotic noise. And this disrupted the harmony with all the other instruments. The other instruments were too distracted by the chaos from the violin that they could no longer tune into what the universal song wanted to play through them. It almost felt like the universal song had disappeared. Feeling abandoned by the universal song and not being able to let the universal song play through them anymore, all the instruments now started playing their own song. There was such noisy chaos as a result of all these instruments trying to come up with their own song. They no longer felt connected to each other. They all tried to compete with each other to try to be the loudest, or play the most beautiful song, or to be the most popular. Some instruments tried to make other instruments play to their song, either by making themselves look so glamorous to entice people to follow their song, or through the use of force. Hierarchies of power and popularity started to form. Those at the top of the hierarchies viewed themselves as better than others, while those at the bottom felt worthless. But no one was relaxed and truly happy. Every instrument was constantly competing with all the others, while also, at the same time, trying to gain acceptance, attention, and appreciation from the others. Some instruments would get angry at others, jealousies arose, and everyone was just looking out for their own interests. This dire situation continued for thousands of years, until the new generation of instruments had no idea that things used to be so different many years ago. But one day, one instrument, the flute, looked around at all the chaos, and things just didn't feel right to it. The flute felt within itself that there must be another way to live. There had to be. Try as much as it could never play a song that pleased itself or others, and eventually it gave up trying. However, as soon as it gave up, something miraculous happened. A sweet, faint, heavenly song started to take over the flute and play itself. The song felt so familiar to the flute, even though it had never heard it before. The flute simply let go and observed the song play through it. And the flute felt amazing from just observing and listening. The flute felt that it had to tell the other instruments about this amazing discovery, that they could stop trying to control what they play, and a much more beautiful and magical song would take over and play itself instead, and they could just relax and enjoy listening to it. But many of the instruments refused to listen or believe the flute. They were so set in their ways, and they were afraid to relinquish control in case nothing else played through them, and they ended up being forgotten about or judged by the others. But one drum was intrigued by what the flute was saying, and was brave enough to give it a go. And sure enough, the same heavenly song started to play itself on the drum. What was playing on the drum perfectly complemented what was playing on the flute, as if they were one. Seeing and hearing this, some of the other instruments were inspired and joined the party. As more instruments joined in, the volume of the one heavenly universal song became louder and louder, making it easier and easier for more instruments to join in letting go and allowing the one universal song to be played through them. Eventually, all instruments were once again one with each other, unseparated, enjoying their unique part in the one song. Everyone was happy once again, but this time there was no chance of an instrument going rogue again, as the memories of the resulting chaos were still fresh within the minds of the instruments, and no one wanted to experience that disharmony again. It was a useful experiment to see what else could be done, but all instruments knew they were much happier now as they played the one universal song together.